Welcome back to Triple Off Sports Talk. I'm Josh. That's Bryce. That's Roy over there. Pod 65. Football. Again, we talked last week. We gave you our Super Bowl prediction. Super Bowl will be this Sunday in New Orleans. We don't have to really talk about anything. None of my feelings have really changed. And with that, scheduled out, we're going to go each division for baseball. Baseball season right around the corner. Spring training's getting ready to start here in a week or so, couple
I
weeks.
think some teams start this week. I thought some teams this coming week.
Yeah, so teams are getting ready to start it up. So we've scheduled it to where we're going to do all 6 of the divisions, and then the 7th week we will do our MLB team draft, which we do every year. And that will basically be the week before opening day is our team draft. So that's why we scheduled it this way. So we have a division. It's the NL East. Go through the teams: Marlins, Nationals, Mets, Braves, and Phillies. And the order we're going to do it of the teams of the division is based off their standings last year. So this is how the standings went last year in no particular order from us just choosing them. But can you guys see my comment, by the way, on the sheet?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know if you guys would be able to see it or not. But
I can. I don't know if I really can.
Yeah.
Comment? I don't see a comment on there.
Scroll to the bottom half of the Marlins page.
He's on his phone. I don't know if he'll be able to.
Oh, that's okay. Bryce, me and you will read. We'll alternate. How about that?
Okay.
I'll start off with the Marlins first. So the Marlins last year, they finished in 5th place in the NL East. They finished with a record of 62-100. Their key additions in the offseason, I'm not going to lie, this was a stretch. I gave him Matt Mervis. He was a Cubs prospect. Could he be something? Yeah. I mean, the Marlins don't have much, so sure. Key losses. I threw Tanner Scott in here, even though I know he left at the deadline last year to San Diego. It is still a key loss, in my opinion, as a team. He is on the Dodgers now. They also made 2 trades in the offseason. Jesus Luzardo, starting pitcher, he goes to the Phillies, and Jake Burger goes to the Texas Rangers.
They lost Jake the Burger Man.
Yep, the Burger Man. So I'm going to read off this again.
They didn't lose the true Burger Man, though.
Daniel Vogelbach.
Danny fucking Burgers.
I don't think he's on the team right now, is he?
Cubs better sign him today.
I'm going to go over the projected starting lineup for the Marlins, their pitching staff, and their bullpen. Starting at shortstop, Xavier Edwards. Third base, Connor Norberry. Third base, Jesus Sanchez. First base, Jonah Bride. Right fielder, Griffin Colin. Sticks.
No, it's Griffin Conine.
Oh, I should probably zoom in a little bit.
Yeah, I zoomed in a bunch.
I'm a little far out. Oh, yeah, there is an I in there. DH. I don't know if I should even pronounce this. Division de los Santos. Center fielder, right. Kyle Stowers. Second base, Otto Lopez. Catcher, Nick Fortes. With a bench of 4 players I've never heard of. Starting pitching, they will get Sandy Alcantara back, who missed all of last season with Tommy John, who won Cy Young 2 years ago. Ryan Weathers, Edward Cabrera, Max Mayer, and Valente Belazzo. Man, that sounded like I'm not even going to say that. And I looked at this earlier. Their bullpen, I don't know one player. I do not know one player in their bullpen. I did also put on here their injured pitchers. Braxton Garrett, and then Yuri Perez, the now 21-year-old. He made his debut at the age of 19. Phenom, who had Tommy John early last year. I'm sure he'll miss about half the year if I had to assume, but he's also 21, so they probably won't push him. So that's the Marlins for you. You guys got anything to say? I'll be real quick with the Marlins. I'm not going to spend too much time on them. They're an awfully ran organization. They don't spend any money. They've had Christian Yelich, Giancarlo Stanton, Marcell Ozuna, JT Realmuto, and they can barely make the playoffs if they're lucky one year. The COVID year they made it, and then I think 2 years ago they made it because they had a good run. But bad ran organization, and they're at rock bottom again. It feels like every 3 years they flip to this, and it's just it's gonna be another bad year in my opinion. But
no, I agree. If you look at their age, starting the season, they do not have a 30-year-old starting at all throughout the entire season. And if you look at their bullpen, looking at your thing, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of their players were claimed off waivers over the last 3 years.
Yeah.
So it's not. And if you look, they only drafted. There's only 1, 2, 3 players that's they're starting that was actually drafted by them. So this team was always known for drafting, bringing good, making them, developing them, and then they were good. And then they be good for a few years. They got money hit. And guess what? Then they shipped them off to the higher price and got more prospects. They're just not drafting well anymore. They're not. They're like you said. They're a terrible organization now, terribly run, and like you look at their roster. You said they're both. Other than Sandy as their starting pitcher, Ryan Weathers only because I saw 3 Marlin games last year, and that's when he pitched. I think 2 of the 3 that I saw. Yeah. There's nobody on this team that you can even say, look and go, hey, yeah, I know that guy. He was pretty good. There's just nothing there.
Yeah. Bryce?
Yeah, you guys pretty much hit it all. I think there's 3 guys I counted on the roster that I recognize the name.
Those former Cubs? Is that why?
No. Jesus Sanchez. I know that name. I know Nick Fortes. I know that name. And Sandy Alcantara. I actually know Anthony Bender too, so 4 because he was from Milwaukee. So
as bad as the Marlins are, and I think they're going to be bad for a long time until they get a new ownership. They do not care. It seems like I will give them one benefit of the doubt. They did make a really good trade, and I said this last year. I couldn't believe the trade they made with the Orioles last year at the deadline. They traded Trevor Rogers for Connor Norberry and Kyle Stowers. Kyle Stowers is 27 years old, but he only has 1 year of baseball play, so he's at least there for 5 years. And they also Connor Norberry is 24, and he was a second-round pick by Baltimore. He's actually one of their better prospects, and they got him for a pitcher who they didn't use or need. It was a pretty good trade and then now Trevor Rogers was awful for the Baltimore Orioles and is in AAA. So they traded 2 of their better prospects for basically a AAA pitcher. So at least they've made one good trade. I don't know if I'd count the Jazz trade as a good one, but hey, I'll take it. But I don't have anything. I'm going to skip where I think they're going to be in the rankings, even though it might be a little bit more obvious, until the end. We'll all give our 1 through 5 of what we think the standings are, going from 5 to 1. So let's take it to number 4. Bryce, I'll let you read this one off.
All right. In 2024, the Washington Nationals went 71-91 with the key additions of first base Nathaniel Lau, relief pitcher Jorge Lopez, and first base Josh Bell. Their key losses are relief pitcher Kyle Finnegan, relief pitcher Tanner Rainey, first base Joey Meneses, starting pitcher Patrick Corbin, and first base Joey Gallo.
Threw that one in there for you, Roy.
I was going to say, I don't know how you count Joey Gallo.
I had to throw that name in there for you, Roy. That's why he's last.
Their team consists of C.J. Abrams, Dylan Cruz, James Wood, Nathaniel Lau, Josh Bell, Luis Garcia, Kybert Ruiz, Jose Tena, and Jacob Young. Their starting pitchers consist of Mackenzie Gore, Jake Irvin, Mitchell Parker, Trevor Williams, Michael Soroka, and DJ Hers. Their relief pitchers, I'm not even gonna try that name. Oh, I know Jorge Lopez. I was gonna start at the bottom and go up. I don't know if you know how to say that name.
No.
Shinosaki Augustawara. The guy's name's an alphabet. Derek Law, Jose A. Farah, Ecuador Salazar, Zach Brzezinski, Evan Reifert. I'll talk a little bit about them first.
All right.
I actually like watching the Nationals a lot. They have a ton of young talent on this team, and I think eventually they will be really good. They're just a few years away. You look at the roster, 24, 22, 22, 24, 26, 23, 25, and then you have 2 guys around 30. That typically, those teams, if they can stay together and they all advance, you see what the Orioles did, they can be a really good team because I like a lot of these players and I think they're really good. They also have one of the best pitchers in the league, in my opinion, Mackenzie Gore. He's a stud, great ace. I think they could use a little bit more bullpen help. They don't have quite the greatest people in front of Jorge Lopez. I do like Jorge Lopez, though. I do like watching this team a lot. I just think they're still a little young, and in the next few years, considering this is kind of a hard division, they could probably take the division.
Roy, you want me to go next?
Oh, I can go.
Okay.
No, I agree. This team has got some young talent. I do. They have, and I don't know how much fun they are to watch. I don't really like watch. I don't, unless it's a team that I care about. I don't really watch them. But I think CJ Abrams is a talent that's going to take a step. I like the addition of Nathaniel Lowe. I think he's a decent ball player. I think he'll help be a kind of a veteran presence in a young team. You're right. Mackenzie Gore that guy's a stud. A stud in the future. He's going to be tough. This team, if this was any other division, if it was in the AL Central or the NL Central, this is a top 2 team in the division. Because you got some heavyweights in the top, it's going to struggle. Now they could still, like 7 teams can make the playoffs. They could still try to maybe put the edge there. So this is a good team, a young team, and I think they're building. I'm not a big Josh Bell fan, so I think that one's a her one. You saw when he went to San Diego. Is that where he was at? No.
He was a Pirate.
In Arizona last year.
He just struggled, and he gets hot months, and that's
he does.
But now this team, I think they could make some noise.
Yeah.
So
I really like that you started off with CJ Abrams, Roy. I really am disappointed you guys both missed. He could really be a good player if he gets out of them casinos all night long, man. I don't know if you guys remember that at the end of the last year. I don't remember who they were playing, but they were playing a noon game, and it was like 5 a.m., and he was still at the casino.
There's nothing wrong with that.
I'm just saying. I can't believe no one said anything. Yeah, you look at the Juan Soto trade from years ago. Who was their key pieces? The 3 that I know off the top of my head: C.J. Abrams, James Wood, Mackenzie Gore, who are some of the 3 best players. So, you get a payoff in return like that. You hope to see it pay out. And at the time, James Wood was 18 years old. Now he's 22. Really looked good last year in the small sample size. They also had the number 2 pick last year, Dylan Cruz, who a lot of people thought would be the number 1 overall pick before the skyrocket of Paul Skeens was that year, which also turns out to be a good pick. But still, Dylan Cruz was consensus the number 1 pick for like 2 straight years, and the Nationals get him. Pair him with the return from Juan Soto. Are they the greatest team right now? I still think they lack. You look at the bottom 5 of their lineup: Josh Bell, Luis Garcia, Keibert Ruiz has kind of been a disappointment from the Max Scherzer, Trey Turner trade like 4 years ago. Jose Tena and Jacob Young, they really lack at the bottom, but they have such a good young core that eventually, if those guys can continue to take the next steps, this could be a destination team. You want to go play with a 23-year-old James Wood, Dylan Cruz, things like that. So you just hope those players take the next steps. Outside of Mackenzie Gore, I don't love their pitching staff, and I don't like their bullpen very much, maybe outside of Jorge Lopez, but even he struggled last year. I definitely think this team lacks pitching, and although I think they might be about what they are last year, 71-91 range. Hopefully they take a little bit of step up, but I think they should really be focusing on the pitching staff. Getting Patrick Corbin's contract off the books also helps. I don't know if you guys know, he made like $30 million the last 10 years, or the last 8, had like an average ERA like 7.5. Yeah. So getting that contract off opened up a lot of doors too. And another guy, I talked about Keibert Ruiz being a disappointment from the Max Scherzer, Trey Turner deal. Their other big prospect, Josiah Gray, can't stay healthy, also hasn't been very good. So not all perfect sailing, but I don't have anything else for them. Let's take it to the third place team, the New York Mets. 2024 record 89-73. Made it in as the last seed, 7th seed. It went all the way through to the NLCS to eventually lose to the World Series winning Dodgers. Key additions, the big one, they got the big boy right fielder Juan Soto from the Yankees. They also got starting pitcher Clay Holmes, was a reliever for the Yankees, but now starter.
Why did you even bring that up? Who gives a shit?
Frankie Montas from Milwaukee/Cincinnati. They also stole a Braves reliever, AJ Minter, like a few days ago. traded for center fielder from the Rays, Jose Siri, and they also picked up reliever from the Cubs who got cut, Albert Alzolay, to pick in their bullpen. Key losses, however, they lose J.D. Martinez, DH, to free agency, Luis Severino, starter, to the Athletics, Adam Ottavino to free agency, Harrison Bader, center fielder, to free agency, and first base Pete Alonso is still a question mark, but from all sounds of it, it doesn't sound like he's coming back. So I was okay with putting him in there, but could see a world where he still ends up back with the Mets. So I won't ever count that out. Again, third place, their lineup with all their additions and subtractions. Shortstop Frankie Lindor, right fielder Juan Soto, first base Mark Vientos, left fielder Brandon Nimmo, DH Jesse Winker, catcher Francisco Alvarez, second base Jeff McNeil, center field Jose Siri, and third base Brett Beatty. With Charlie Marte on the bench, Ronald Acuna's little brother Luis Angel Acuna, and Tyrone Taylor on the bench. Starting pitching rotation looks like Sean Manaea, Kodai Senga, Frankie Montas, Clay Holmes, David Peterson, Paul Blackburn, with a bullpen of Griffin Canning, Danny Young, Ryan Stanek, Reed Garrett, Jose Budo, AJ Minter, and Edwin Diaz. Anybody want to go first?
I can go first.
right.
Now, I mean, the Mets added. I mean, this is what they do. They spend a lot of money. Can they get them to play? Get them to play together. Now, I mean, Juan Soto's actually. I mean, that's a no-brainer. They got him. I mean, one of the best players in baseball. I mean, he'll make them better just because of that. And they're a team that I mean, they didn't take what they lost to add him. It was. I mean, it's a wash just with him. I do like Jose Siri. I think he is he's just coming from Tampa, he just plays. They play fundamentally, and he plays tough. My question mark for them. I mean, their lineups. Lindor's old. I just feel like he's not. He's well past what well past for a shortstop, and I don't think he's one of the best ones. Their pitching is nothing. I just don't see it. I mean, I didn't think they added anything starting pitching wise to help to make them take that next step. They're just going to out-hit everybody. I mean, their bullpen still got Edwin Diaz, which is still good. AJ Minter is a good pickup for him. He was decent. Now, I talked to a Braves fan not too long about this trade, and he was on the back. He says he's on the back end of his career. So
he's definitely AJ Minter's age. He's 31 years old. He's pitched over 6 years. So,
but yeah, I mean, your starting pitcher is Sean Manaea, and Frankie Montas. I mean, we saw. I mean, he's not that guy anymore. I mean, he's not going to be that guy that's going to be like going to get you 20 wins or anything. And then Clay Holmes as your number 5. I mean, he was a setup man basically for the last 3 years. Yeah. Closer sometimes.
It's definitely unique.
Like that's where they're struggling. Now they're going to spend money at the deadline to get whatever they wanted. But they can still hit. They're going to still. I mean, they're still one of the better teams. I don't think they'll add Pete Alonso, but they're still the team. Still a team. I still think they're going to try to trade Starling Marte and things like that. But that team's still. I mean, they're one of the better teams in the division.
Yeah, I'll go next. I mean, Frankie Lindor had an MVP type season last year. It's hard for me just to say he's not gonna. I mean, until he doesn't do it again. He struggled his first few years in New York, but last year, I mean, he really connected. I mean, you had Juan Soto. Let's be real, he's a top 5 player in the game without a doubt with the bat. Maybe behind Soto and Ohtani. Maybe is the third best bat in baseball, not counting fielding.
You said Soto and Ohtani.
No, Judge and Ohtani. Obviously, one of the best bats there is. Will definitely, like Roy said, he'll definitely make the lineup better. He'll be on base a ton with his walks. He will make the lineup better. The offense last year wasn't the Mets' problem. They had a good offense. I don't love some of their back end guys. Brett Beatty really struggled. I hope he does good though because he's on my dynasty team. Jesse Winker was hot, so they traded for him, and he was good for him. He's also been awful for like 3 years before this. So how much stock do you take in that? But yeah, I mean, it's pretty obvious what the Mets situation is. Will their pitching hold up? Kodai Senga's had injury problems his whole entire career. Sean Manaea had a breakout year last year. He's 33 years old. I still think he'll pitch well because he's obviously comfortable there and change some things up. But is he your dominant closer, ace you want in winner take all game? maybe not. That's the thing I think this team lacks. Clay Holmes, good luck. I don't know how. That guy can't throw a strike for 1 inning, let alone 8 of them. But you never know. I also said the same thing about Luis Severino last year, and he got $60 million out of the Oakland Athletics. Or how racist, Athletics, not Oakland. Bullpen, I don't love their bullpen. AJ Minter and Edwin Diaz, Brian Stanek. I don't love anyone else. But like Roy also hinted at, they have an unlimited amount of money. They can add whatever they want.
Yep.
So.
I do like this. The addition of Juan Soto. Obviously, you can't really hate on it. I don't really like a lot of their other additions, though. I think that it was clear what they were going for was pitching, besides Juan Soto's their additions, but they went cheap on it. I felt like. I mean, you look at it: Jose Siri, Frankie Montas, Clay Holmes, AJ Minter, these Adbert Alzolay. I mean, Adbert Alzolay didn't play all season last year because he was bad, and then got injured, and they finally just dropped him. I really would like to see them re-sign Pete Alonso. I think that bat and lineup with the bats that they do have, I think that's just it would make their offense good enough that I think that they could do the type of thing they did last year, and then hopefully add some pieces at pitching at the deadline. The one thing you guys didn't really mention is just how old this team is. They don't have anybody that's like – they have like 4 players on the whole roster that's under like 25, I think, or 25 and below. Everybody else is 30-plus. Whenever your team's that old, the thing that scares me the most is injuries. And you've got all these people with a lot of weight on them, and they're old. I just don't want to see this team get injury-riddled early. I mean, every single pitcher is 30-plus. So – that's my biggest concern with this team is they have to add some young pitching if I were to be the GM, but pitching at least has to be added.
Yeah.
You want some older players for experience, especially in
everybody on their team is old. They don't have one person that I feel like can go out there and carry a heavy load.
Yeah, the youngest guy is David Pearson, 29.4 years old. Sean Manaea, 33, Kodai, 32, Clay, 32, Paul Blackburn, 31. So definitely a little bit older pitching staff, but let's roll it into the second team, Bryce. I'll let you take this one.
The second team we have is the Atlanta Braves, who last year won 89 and 73, lost the WC to the San Diego Padres. Their key additions are Jurickson Profar and Brian De La Cruz. Key losses: Max Fried, Charlie Morton, AJ Minter, Adam Duvall, Travis Arnaud, and Jorge Soler. Their lineup,
Solar power.
Yep. Their lineup looks like Michael Harris II, Jurickson Profar, Austin Riley, Matt Olson, Marcell Ozuna, Ozzie Albies, Sean Murphy, Jared Kelenic, Orlando Arcia. Their starting pitching looks like Chris Sale, Ronaldo Lopez, Spencer Schwallenbach, Grant Holmes, Ian Anderson. In their bullpen, they have Raciel Iglesias, Pierce Johnson, Aaron Bummer, Dylan Lee, Daysbel Hernandez, Angel Perdomo, Anderson Pilar, and Dylan Dode. They still have Ronald Acuna Jr. and Spencer Strider on the IR right now. My opinions on this team is they obviously, I would say the best 2 players on their team are still hurt, and Ronald Acuna Jr. and Spencer Strider, which really sucks because I think those 2 really pull this team together. They're the 2 people that they can rely on the pitching side and the offensive side. So that really does hurt them. We saw it last year. They're not the same team without those 2. They still have an unbelievable team. I mean, you go down the list, and everybody on this list is a great player. Now, I think a lot of these players had kind of a down year last year compared to the year before, whenever they were a 100-plus win team. Whenever you look at like Austin Riley, Matt Olson, Ozzie Albies, still, I thought he played well last year. But, I mean, Matt Olson was the home run leader 2 years ago, and Austin Riley was right behind him.
Yep.
You didn't see those numbers this year. They're still great players. I'm not saying that. but I also think this team lost a ton. Whenever they had probably the best 1-2 punch, I think we all agreed last year in Spencer Strider and Max Fried. Spencer Strider's hurt and Max Fried's gone now. I don't like the rest of their starting pitching, really, besides Chris Sale had a decent year, but he's almost 36 going into the season. That isn't great to me. I don't really like any of the other starting pitchers all that much, and I don't love their bullpen either. I like Raciel Iglesias, 35. Aaron Bummer's not – I don't think he's as good as what he used to be, 32. And then they lost – everybody they lost was pitching almost. Like the ones that I think affect them at least, and that sucks. I think that they're going to have to add starting pitching, and then they're kind of in the same boats as the Mets. They just don't have the pitching to carry it. They're going to have to try and outscore everybody again, is how I see this team.
Yeah, I'll go next. I look at this team, Michael Harris, Profar, Riley, Olson, Ozuna, Albies, Murphy, Kelnick, Garcia. That's a star-studded lineup. You're not even talking about a Ronald Acuna Jr. who tore his ACL last year. He'll be back at some point, He tore his ACL 3 years ago, and then the next year, had one of the greatest seasons in the history of baseball.
Yeah.
And wins MVP. Now, does he do that? Probably not. Let's be real. But, shit. Ronald Acuna Jr. is how old? 27 years old. This guy's been in the league for 7 years almost. He came up at 20. Spencer Strider. It sucks Spencer Strider missed all of last year with Tommy John. I'm sure he won't be ready. At least he did in April and not, August, where he'd miss all of this season. So you're going to get these guys back again. Will Spencer Strider and Ronald Acuna be as good as, they were when they were healthy? It might take a year. It really will. But that lineup is as good, and you nailed it, Bryce. A lot of them had down years last year. You look at Riley. He finished 130th overall player. He's a top 50 player when he's on. Let's be real.
Yeah.
I like the addition of Profar. They were rotating outfielders, Jorge Soler, Adam Duvall. You stick Profar in there if he can continue what he did last year. He was really good for San Diego. Matt Olson should have a better year. I feel like Marcell Ozuna's got to come down to earth. That or he'll get another DUI. I'm not sure which one will happen first, but he's only got like 7. How that's legal, I don't know. It blows my mind. But I agree with Bryce. Their pitching staff isn't great. Chris Sale, 35 years old. Was last year an anomaly. He'd been injured for 8 years, Roy. You know that better than me, and you know that better than anyone. And then he comes out, and he was absolutely the Cy Young in the National League last year, without a doubt. Ronaldo Lopez turned reliever to starter, pitched really well, but he got injured there late. That Spencer Swollenbuck, though, that kid's a stud. He's going to be really good. They're back to, though, Grant Holmes, Ian Anderson. Don't know a lot about. Don't think they're very good. And I also agree with you, Bryce. I also don't think their bullpen's very good. Losing Minter was a bad one because Iglesias, Bummer, I would say, are 2 good relievers. After that, though, they really drop off a cliff. They're going to need some of their younger kids to step up. They're really not that young. They're in their late 20s, but newer to the organization. But this should still be a really good team. Hopefully getting their players healthy back will give them, some boost. And it's going to be a tough division, especially when the Mets add Juan Soto in that. But I think they're really good. So I expect good things.
I agree. I think this Braves team, with all the injuries and the down, they still won 89 games last year. I think this team improved with Profar. I think if he has even half a season that he had last year, he's helped benefit this team.
Yeah.
Acuna, I read that he should be back early spring. Somewhere in April is what their hope is. Their shot. He'll put a jolt. I think Austin Riley will have a better year. I think Matt Olson will have a better year. That lineup I think will be Kelnick. He cut down strikeouts. I think he could be a good player.
Yeah, good prospect.
But their pitching. See, I'm not that down on their pitching. I think Lopez is a stud. Other than Chris Sale, because Chris Sale, is injured a lot. Got injured at the end of the year last year. He had a great year. That was a high risk, low reward thing.
Yeah.
He high risk, high rewards. He could have had a bad year last year. Nobody would say because they didn't pay him. So I like Lopez. I love that Schallenbach.
Yeah, he's going to be good.
I think he's a stud. And then the Braves fan Logan told me, or we were talking about Ian Anderson. Don't put they're high on him. being a young guy to coming
Holy
in.
shit!
What?
I was looking at this chart and I'm looking at the Ian Anderson and you said it. He was number 3 pick in the draft, 2016.
They said don't.
Damn.
That's why they kind of let Max Fried go. They said is because they have high hopes, and this is the Braves. All right, the Braves have traditionally they just bring up young guys that are talented. They draft well, and they just do this.
They've never been big defenders.
Strider just back by July towards the end of the year.
Yeah,
give him a little boost going to the end of the year. I mean he's a top 5 pitcher in baseball.
Oh yeah, maybe Garrett Cole
will come back a top 5 pitcher. Obviously,
maybe Garrett Cole timeline of last year, miss May and April, and then get him into the warmer months.
Yeah, and start letting him pitch. Their bullpen. I mean, a bunch of guys that don't know. I mean, I know Brummer, and I've heard of Pillar and Iglis. I think this team will be better than last year, and I mean, it's Braves. I mean. They're all upset they haven't done anything this offseason. I mean, it's been kind of passive, not trying to.
Yeah.
But I still think this team is one of the better teams in the division.
Yeah. And then last year's the winner of the division, the Philadelphia Phillies. For the first time in about 8 years, they didn't go on an absolute cold streak to start the year. Crazy what happened. They won the division. Last year, record 95-67. They lose in the divisional series to the NL East rival New York Mets. Key additions, they added right fielder Max Kepler from Minnesota, closer/reliever Jordan Romano from Toronto, Jesus Luzardo, as we mentioned earlier, from Miami. Their key losses, they lose Austin Hayes, deadline pickup, left fielder from Cincinnati. They lose closers/relievers Jeff Hoffman to Toronto and Carlos Estevez to the Kansas City Royals. I'll start. Lineup DH Kyle Schwarber, shortstop Trey Turner, first base Bryce Harper, right field deep drive to right Castellanos. Someone just got murdered. Third base Alec Boehm, left fielder Max Kepler, catcher JT Real Muto, center fielder Brandon Marsh, shortstop Bryson Stott. Pitching rotation. I saw this earlier. They always put these rotations how the order they think they are. I don't know who thinks Christopher Sanchez is over Aaron Nola, but that is not the case. Just mind-boggling to me. Zach Wheeler, Aaron Nola, Christopher Sanchez, Ranger Suarez, Jesus Luzardo, with a bullpen of Tyjon Walker, Joe Ross, Tanner Banks, Jose Ruiz, Jose Alvarado, Orion Kirkering, Matt Strom, and Jordan Romano. I'll go first on the Phillies. Really good year last year. This is a really talented roster, especially, Zach Wheeler gets better every year. He's starting to turn into the old Justin Verlander. He's just getting better with like a fine wine. Aaron Nola's consistent. He gives you the same year every year. Lineup solid. Schwarber, Turner, Harper. What's his face? JT Realmuto had a little bit of a step back last year. Still a really good catcher. I like the addition of Max Kepler. If I had to have one gripe about this team at the moment, it's their bullpen. I mean, they lose Jeff Hoffman, who was terrific for him last year. And they also, I was really shocked they just let Carlos Estevez walk like that. They took a deadline move. They gave him a lot to get him from the Angels. And they only kept him around for half a season, and then he's off. It just didn't make much sense to me. Jordan Romano was released from Toronto. He's right now their closer at the moment. This is a shaky closer to me. But outside of that, really good roster if they can stay healthy. Because this is also an old team, like Bryce kind of talked about with the Mets. This is one of the older teams as well. 31, 31, 32, 32, 32, 28, 33, 27, 27. Rotation 34, 28, 31, 29, 27. So.
Go ahead,
yeah, I'll go. I love this team. I've stated it before. I love the Phillies, especially they have Bryce Harper is one of my favorite players. They obviously have a ton of former Cubs on their team. I really do like the additions they have a lot with Max Kepler, Jordan Romano, and Jesus Luzardo. I think Jesus Luzardo is probably the biggest one for them that adds another good pitcher in that starting rotation. This division's really good. We've talked about all of them. They all have great lineups with great bats. The one thing that I think separates this team from the rest of the teams is they have great pitching and a great bullpen. I think that they're going to do the same thing that they have been doing. They're going to get to the playoffs and hopefully make a run. I can't say whether this is their year or not because it seems like the Buffalo Bills of the NFL. They have a great team all year, get to the playoffs, and then somebody's got their number.
Solid comparison.
I would like to see them win if the Cubs don't, but this is one of my favorite teams. I can't wait to watch them again. So,
yeah, this team is just talent. Just talented. Top to bottom. Max Kepler is a good addition. Bryce Harper. Trey Turner. Right, those guys. These guys are just talented, and they're good at big moments.
Yeah,
that's what they're pitching. Like you said, Zach Wheeler is just getting better, and he's learned how to pitch. That's the thing. He's learned how to use his stuff. Yeah, Aaron Nola, I stud. That Jesus Luzardo, that guy, he has got talent. That is the thing. Whether he sees highlights of it in Miami. The problem was he played for a shitty organization. Yep. I think he's just got tired of just losing. He'd pitch a great game and still get beat. Yeah. That's how it was. Coming to this and him just putting in what he can do, he's going to succeed. I think that's the only downfall is, I agree with you, Josh, is the bullpen. They had a great bullpen last year. You bring it back with Jordan Romano. I'm not a big fan. I've seen a little bit of him last year with Toronto and stuff. He's not a closer to me. But this team though has the talent to be be a good playoff team, good World Series, one of the world's top 5 probably to win the World Series. They have the talent, and they'll go out. They are a team that will go out and get people if they need to. That's the difference. They're always willing to go do that stuff. So I agree. I think this team is one of the better teams in the division.
All right, we've gone through all the teams. Let's go through let's go see what we think our predictions will be. Now, again, it's still early. We're still, month and a half out of the season starting really. But let's give it our best shot. I have it. So last year, I remember doing our predictions, and I don't think I wrote them down. I just had the recording of our podcast. I have it in our. If you guys aren't in it right now, but the sheet usually our team drafts in, where our picks are for NFL Weekly. I have the team draft set up. Just obviously the teams are not in it, and the predictions, and I have every division, all our names. So, I'm gonna start with you, Bryce. What do you tell me your order? What you got this coming year?
So there's one thing that will affect my order since we still have a month left, and that's Pete Alonso.
Okay, I thought about that. Go ahead.
If Pete Alonso signs with the Mets, I say the Mets will pass the Braves and take second.
Okay.
If Pete Alonso does not sign with the Mets, I think that the order will be exactly the same.
Okay, that's fine. That can be done because he'll do it before the season. So
yeah.
So what are your other standings? 5th to 1st.
That it's the exact same.
Oh, 5th. So you think Marlins, Nationals, Mets / Braves, and then Phillies?
Yes.
Okay. Roy, you want me to go next? Or you want to go?
I have the same thing. I have Marlins, Nationals, Mets, Braves, Phillies.
All right, let me put that.
If Pete Alonso signs with the Mets, are you flipping or no?
Their pitching staff is what still gets me about the Mets. They don't have a true ace. So, you get on those runs where you lose a lot of games and you need your ace to get you out of it. They don't have that. And because they'll Soto will go in a slump. Some of those guys in the Mets will go in slump, and you'll need somebody to go in there and just give you 9 or 8 innings and pitch a great game and keep you in the game and get a win. They don't have that.
For Bryce, I got Marlins, Nationals, Mets / Braves, Mets / Braves, Phillies. For Roy, I got Marlins, Nationals, Mets, Braves, Phillies. Okay, I'm going to go Marlins 5th. I think that is the best lock. I think the Nationals are close to getting into that 3rd spot, but I just don't have their pitching staff being able to hold up over the long season, especially if they're not in a wild card spot. You're talking July. Do they really push for it, at the deadline? Do they really push into months where they might be out of it by this time. So I am going to have the Nationals in fourth. I agree, but I think they're closer to third than some people think. I have the Mets in third. I could see the Mets winning the division if their pitching staff looks like, God's creation, but I just don't see it. But they are going to hit. I'm going to have one change from you guys. I'm going to have the Phillies in second. I'm going to have the Braves coming back to first. They were only 6 games back. They didn't have any Ronald Acuna, didn't have any Spencer Strider. I just think that offense is going to rebound a little bit, kind of like Bryce said a little bit. So I'm going to have the Braves coming back to first. And it's the first year they've lost it to the Phillies in probably 5 years. I don't know exactly. I probably pissed some of them Braves off that have been there, Albies, Acuna, those type of guys. I'm going to have the Braves coming first. So that'll be my different. And that's really all I got for baseball. You guys good?
Good for next week.
All right. Roy?
All right, so we're in the college basketball season. We're in the bad months. January and February are tough months to watch college basketball. But it's you're in conference play, and it is just tough. Going into different environments. I'm a Big Ten guy, so going to any Big Ten environment is just tough. I mean, you could be a top of the world, and you go in and student sections just. That's what I love about college sports, college basketball, college football. Student sections affect games, and and that's how you think Duke's been so good at home, is they have the student section surround the whole court. So just remember that when you're watching college. That's why I love college sports. I'm gonna give you top 20, just the top 10. It's because 25. I hate the top 25 just because it's just based on what political game you can play.
Yeah.
I mean, like Connecticut's still in there and they suck. I don't get it. So you got Auburn 1, Duke 2, which I agree with those. Alabama 3, Tennessee 4, Houston 5, Florida 6, Purdue 7, Iowa State 8, Michigan State 9, and Texas A&M 10. So I figured we could talk about our 3 teams real quick. Go ahead with the line.
Yeah, I mean, Brett or Roy, you kind of nailed it. I mean, Illinois is going through a little bit of their tough stretch right now. They're not playing great. Sinner's been out with mono for about 2 weeks. Just got him back the last game. They won, crazy enough, when he comes back. Our point guard, who is our best player, KJ, probably a top 15 pick in the draft. He had a forearm injury, missed like 2 games, won one, lost one, but he just hasn't, been as aggressive, hasn't been the same player since. Illinois had one player who played minutes last year come back this year, like only one. All transferred, all went to the NBA / G League or anything else, or graduated. So it's a whole new team. I think they're hitting that stretch of college basketball. You have that early ramp up in November. You're excited, where it's an easy schedule. December also gets tough. You start to play some of your games, and then January really starts conference play, like you said. We have some good ones. We got at Oregon. We got a good one. We got at Indiana. We lose to Michigan State by a field goal. We lose to Tennessee, the number 1 team in the country at the time, by a field goal. We've played Alabama. Illinois played a tough schedule. I think it'll help them later in March. But, yeah, they're just going through it right now. Hopefully they get a little healthy, get a little bit more consistent, because they got a big one here at the end of February I'm excited for. We're going to go play in Madison Square Garden against the Dookie Blue Devils. So –
Tennessee, I actually haven't watched a whole lot of college basketball. I know they're the 4 seed and they've been winning a lot of games, but the only issue I have with this team is last year they made it pretty far because they had one great scorer with Dalton Connect. When he wasn't on, the team wasn't on. So I don't know if there's anybody going to fill that role. I really just haven't watched them enough to really talk about them yet.
Obviously, my team's the Michigan Wolverines. Where we've had a pretty good year for just like Illinois. 3 returning players from last year's team that played any significant minutes. Actually, technically, only 2. Only one of them plays a lot of minutes. The other one comes off the bench. Just it looked good early. When you're hitting shots and you're playing these weak teams. Now, what you get in conference and teams are scouting you, you're having to rely on chemistry, and we're just not there. That's what the bad thing about transfer is, the chemistry. You just don't. You're off a lot. Just little things. A bad pass here, just not in the right position. We're going through the Michigan's going through the bug. our top center, our center Black Golden he's had the flu.
Yeah.
He lost 10 pounds in a week, they said.
Yeah.
So and that's just tough when you're at college. Just that flu's real bad this year. Sitting tied for second in the Big Ten. That's pretty good. 8-2 in the first. Going 8-2 in the first 10 games of a 20 games conference season. I'm happy. I'm happy with that because it's going to take about 5 or 6 losses to win the Big Ten this year. So
yeah, Michigan State's got it right now at 9-1.
Yeah, but if you saw that they play, I think Illinois is the only top team they played in top 5.
Yeah, they're going to
playing UCLA. I think UCLA tonight. So no, the Big Ten's tough. The SEC's tough. I think really good. They're just top to bottom. Got teams that can play, that are physical, and that's the West Coast teams. They struggled early because of that. They're starting to figure out they got to play physical, and they're starting to play that way.
Yeah.
So it's just the way it is. We're in the last month, and here we go. This is where when you have a team that's winning, like all three of us have teams that are winning, that are good. College basketball this time right now is fun.
Oh, it is
going into the tournament because we're all in for the conference championship right now.
Yeah.
And then we have the conference tournament championship. And then the NCAA tournament. This is where it's fun. Yeah. February is where it gets fun. March is really fun, and that's when I get excited. So
February pretty much sets you up. You're going to go into March in the last week, and you're going to know if you have a shot at the conference title or not.
Oh yeah.
And if you're not, you're ramping up for that conference tournament, which starts the first week of March, second week of March.
Second week of March, because
I
think we play Illinois. Michigan plays Illinois the first week of March, and then Michigan's 10 games left. And every one of them's a quad one
game, and you're gonna roll right into March Madness. Hoping you're rolling.
So just excited, can't wait.
It's really fun after the Super Bowl because there just is not that much sports. You're really not into spring training baseball for the most part. No football is on yet, no XFL unfortunately for us. Yeah. So we're gonna have to be rocking some college basketball. All right, I don't have anything else for that. You guys?
No.
I did just see a stat about baseball that I don't know if you guys know. I should have said it then. Do you guys know what the only team is to not sign a free agent this offseason?
I do. It's St. Louis Cardinals.
It is.
Yeah.
St. Louis Cardinals.
I just read that the other day.
We'll get to them when we get to their thing. They are next week. We'll talk about the NL Central next week. It'll go NL East, if you guys are curious. NL East, NL Central, NL West, AL East, AL Central. So that takes us to miscellaneous. And I don't got anything for you guys. I didn't know how long the baseball and all that would go. It's actually right about our normal time. We're usually about 15 minutes left. But so next week I might have a game, but I ain't got one this week. So
I do have a game. My game is football is not over yet, so I wanted to get one more football one in.
Yep. This is it.
There is a bunch of answers, but I'm going to Control F find them if you guys guess them. I need 10 running backs who've had 1,000-yard seasons on multiple teams. And bonus points if you can guess their teams.
Can I make a guess, Roy? This is all time?
Yeah.
Do I have a guess?
Dallas, Minnesota.
Who'd you say?
Herschel Walker.
Herschel Walker is correct, but one of the teams you have is wrong.
Really? Got to be Minnesota.
Well, Dallas, right?
Dallas and Philly.
Philly. Wow, I didn't know Philly.
I didn't even know he played for Philly.
I am going to – how about LT?
Yep. Jets, Chargers?
Jets, Chargers.
What's his actual name again?
LaDainian Tomlinson.
Yeah, LaDainian Tomlinson. I know that's right, but I'm trying to find him.
God, he was so good.
Yep. How about – gosh. I don't know if Emmitt Smith ever got 1,000.
Actually, you know what? LaDainian Tomlinson is wrong.
What?
When I watched this video earlier, he did not hit 1,000 on any team but the Chargers.
Wow. Okay.
I got one. LaShawn McCoy, Buffalo, Philly.
Yeah.
That is correct. Do you know what teams he has his Super Bowl rings with?
Philly.
Chiefs and Bucks.
Chiefs and Bucks.
He had Chiefs the first year.
Didn't fucking play for any of his 3 Super Bowls.
Yep. Le'Veon Bell's like that too. Le'Veon Bell didn't have shit in Pittsburgh and then was on one of those teams.
Yeah.
Those Yeah.
How man, I thought LT would be a good cinch.
So you've gotten what, 2 right?
2.
We've gotten Walker. Yeah, both
And
of mine.
McCoy. Yeah. And 1 strike already. I'm giving you
How
3.
about?
Wow.
I got a couple
I'm
names.
gonna say Marshall Falk, Indianapolis and St. Louis.
That is correct.
Okay. Derrick Henry, Ravens, Titans. I know that's right, so you don't have to look it up.
Yeah, I know that's right too, but this might be
Pre
It's
this
probably
year.
not on
Yeah.
for this year.
Yeah.
the season's not, or I guess the year's not over, so I don't know if it.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
counting it.
That one does count. Yeah.
I got another one for you.
So,
Titans, Cowboys, DeMarco Murray.
I'm pretty sure that's right.
Wow.
I skip over the Philly year.
DeMarco is right. Dallas, Tennessee.
God damn, he was so fun to watch.
How about
He was he was a broke boy Zeke.
How about like Eric Dickerson, the Rams?
That is
and
correct.
Colts.
Yep. What is that? 6 or 5?
Yep. How many we have to get? 10?
Yeah.
Wow.
You can get more if you want. There's 44.
I believe
I think
it.
Emmitt Smith, did he get it with Arizona?
Probably because they gave him so many carries, if I had to guess.
That was like the
Smith on
last
there?
2 years of his career, and then like
Cardinals, Cowboys.
I don't think Emmitt Smith is correct. There is a Smith on there, though. They're at 6 with 2 strikes.
I got another one from this year that won't be on there. Saquon Barkley, Giants, Eagles.
Yeah, I'll give you that one, too.
Okay.
Did he ever play a full season with the
how
Giants?
about Marcus?
His
Allen?
rookie year, he was really good.
How about Marcus Allen, Raiders and Chiefs? What do you think, John?
I love how Roy's like 1980s and I'm like 2020s. Oh, that's funny.
What do you think? Try it.
Sure, I don't even know
Marcus
anything
Allen.
about him.
That is not correct.
Damn, Roy, you're blowing it.
I think
There is an Allen on there. He's got.
I think it's bullshit. Marcus Allen had. I know he had.
Man, why did the name Todd Gurley keep coming in my head? No, it's not right. He didn't play for any other team, but he keeps coming to my damn head. Oh, he played for the Falcons for a year, but I don't know if this is right, but I know he had a 1,000-yard season in Dallas, so I'm gonna take a guess because he was a top pick. Is Darren McFadden on here in Oakland and Dallas? Oh, I hope you say yes.
That is correct. Yes.
Darren McFadden, dude,
Did he really, Derek?
I remember he
never
came-
got that one.
Well, he was a top pick for the Raiders, and then he became awful, and Dallas signed him for 1 year. He was so good for Dallas. He was the DeMarco Murray replacement.
2015. Yeah.
How about Josh Jacobs? Did he have one?
Yeah, that would definitely be one.
Yeah, I don't have that one on this list either. So.
I mean, what a pull.
Damn it! I didn't think about these this year. That's made this so much easier. You guys already failed it, but still.
I haven't missed one. I'm like 5 for 5.
You need at least one more to hit 10, but there's a few on here I know you could get.
I'm going to throw absolute long shot. Don't know if this is even close. Can a different position be on here?
You said running back.
Or is it only running backs? Michael Vick might have it.
1,000-yard rushing for 2 different. It doesn't say. Oh, it is running backs.
Oh, damn. I was going to have Vick from the Eagles and the Falcons.
Michael Vick never had 1,000 yards rushing in a season.
Really?
The record's like fucking 600, isn't it?
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure
I don't
Justin
know.
Fields is second to Lamar
I'll
Jackson.
tell you what Michael Vick has. I have no clue. Rushing yards.
Did Adrian Peterson have any besides Minnesota?
No, Lamar has the record for 1,200.
Really? That's all?
Yeah, like they don't run as much as you
He's
think
got
they do.
one.
He's got one.
He never got it with Philly. He had it in Atlanta 2006, 1,039. Closest he got with Philly was 2010, 676. I wasn't crazy off. Do I know another one?
Who'd you say, Roy?
I was asking if Adrian Peterson got any. I don't remember him in Minnesota, but I don't know if he got one with.
I don't think he ever got it anywhere else.
I don't know where else he went actually. So
Oh, he went a lot.
Yeah, he bounced around a lot.
Saints, Washington, Seattle, Arizona. He bounced at the end. Is Marshawn Lynch a possibility in Buffalo and Seattle? I don't know his Buffalo stats. I just know he was good there for like
I
a year.
couldn't tell you about Buffalo. I don't have a clue.
Is that right, Bryce?
Is that a guess?
Yeah, Marshawn Lynch.
That is correct. That
See,
is
I don't know
10.
his Buffalo stats. I just know that he was
He
good and got hurt.
Did it twice in 2007 and 2008
All
at
right.
Buffalo.
Well, there you go.
And
This was
then
my game.
Adrian Peterson is also correct.
Really? Who's the second team?
Washington.
Damn, really? Okay.
The ones
How about
that
Clinton Portis? If you're
Who?
talking,
Clinton
Clinton
Portis is
Portis.
correct.
Oh, now you get them all right, Roy.
Yeah. I thought you guys might get Ricky Williams.
I thought about him, but I just couldn't do it.
I thought Roy would get Ricky Waters.
Yeah,
I don't know.
there's
Um,
just two teams. Ricky Waters was San Francisco and who?
Philly and Seattle. He did it on 3 teams. I thought you would also get Mark Ingram.
He went through my head 5 times, but I didn't. Is Baltimore? It has to be the other one, right?
Yep.
I did. He only had like 1 or 2 full seasons starting there before Dobbins got there. But I guess Dobbins missed almost every game. But
I
thought
also
about him a lot.
thought you might get Frank Gore.
oh yeah,
Oh,
I forgot. He played everywhere.
No kidding.
I'm pretty sure you guys said Marshall Falk and Eric Dickerson.
Yep.
Yeah.
Then you missed Reggie Bush that I thought you would get.
I also thought about Reggie Bush,
I
but
never
I
thought-
couldn't think
What do you-
anywhere outside New Orleans.
Where's his other team?
Didn't even get one for New Orleans.
Really?
That's why I was so confused reading it. I was like, is this a different Reggie Bush? Got one for Miami, got one for Detroit.
I didn't even know he played for Detroit.
I didn't know he
I
played for any team but New Orleans.
I didn't know he didn't. I knew he played for other team. I thought he played for Miami. I didn't know he played for Detroit.
Really?
Yep,
That's
in
a
2013.
That is a crazy stat right there.
Yeah.
I want to look at. Maybe I have never
Um,
seen Reggie
The
Bush's.
only
Hey.
other person I thought you would get was LeGarrette Blount.
Wow, no. If you would have said touchdowns, maybe.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
really wanna
I
see
just,
the
I just have a quiz question for you. One question. You ready for it?
Miami, and I mean that's wild.
So my question is, since it's Super Bowl Sunday, what 2 teams played in the Super Bowl, 2 franchises that you want, as the way it stands right now, say no more different alignments. What 2 teams play? What 2 franchises play in the past that cannot play in the future?
Was there a team that switched from NFC to AFC or something?
Obviously, is what it is. Man, I don't know.
What 2 franchises played a Super Bowl back? I mean,
God, one of my guesses is the
Cardinals
Cardinals,
and
man.
Packers.
In St.
Yeah.
Louis.
Cardinals and Packers.
no.
Cardinals and Ravens. Damn. Oh no, no. So you're saying they can't play in the Super Bowl now?
They can't play in Super Bowl
They
now.
have to be on the same side now, Bryce. So
Yeah.
have we gotten any of the teams correct? Any of the? Damn.
I'm going to say that the Oilers might be one of the teams.
Well, that'd be Titans now.
Well, the Titans now, yeah.
And that's
Is that-
wrong.
How about Washington?
They had to have played each other.
We're
Oh,
just
that's
trying to get a team. We're trying to figure out a
Yeah,
team.
I have no clue.
I don't know what teams
side are
switched
they
from the
both on
NFC to
now?
I'm trying to think of teams that moved around.
What
But
team?
you got to think Tennessee played the Rams. That's the only team. That's the only team they played in the.
I don't know who they played.
I knew that, but I
I'm
didn't
just
know they
looking for
moved.
teams that have moved.
Give us what side? AFC, NFC. Now.
Oh, what? You mean
Now.
the team?
No, what? Both teams are on the same side. What side is it?
They're all both on the AFC now.
Okay.
The Chargers.
Steelers.
Chargers
Damn,
never
yeah.
made a Super Bowl. Steelers no.
What other teams have moved in the AFC?
Bengals.
I think
Damn.
they've ever moved.
AFC South. AFC North. AFC West. AFC West.
You
Chiefs.
never did? And nope. They may have moved a long time ago.
No.
I know, that's what I'm trying to think.
Raiders. Dude, I don't fucking have a clue. AFC South.
One of the teams is AFC South.
Jaguars.
No.
Dude, this is the hardest question I've ever heard. It's not the Titans, you said. It's not the Texans. They've never made it. Who's the last team? Colts.
Colts is
I
one of
said
the teams.
Colts.
You never said the Colts.
Yeah, maybe I didn't.
Colts.
The Colts?
No, I said the Baltimore Ravens, and I'm thinking the Baltimore
Colts
Colts.
played a team in the Super Bowl. And that they cannot play in the Super
Broncos.
Bowl. No.
Damn, I thought it was the horse battle.
Did they play the Broncos?
I don't know.
I only know them playing the Bears. So, like, you're asking us a question we don't know. We're just
Yeah.
guessing.
Yeah. You give up. I mean,
The
geez.
Patriots.
Pittsburgh. Or no, we already said Pittsburgh was one.
Patriots.
No. Same
Bills.
division.
Bills.
Patriots. No. Bills?
The
No.
Bills have never played one.
Yeah.
Jets. Or Dolphins.
Jets-
Jets or
The
Dolphins.
Jets. Colts and Jets played years ago when they were the Baltimore Colts. And they could never play in the Super Bowl. As of way lined up right now, cannot play in the Super Bowl again.
That was hard. I mean, we named
Yeah.
every football team in the world.
Gosh. I thought
I've
you'd be
never
better
heard
than
that
that.
stat.
I thought you'd
Jesus
get at least one or
Christ. The
two.
Colts and the Jets. Yeah, those are
I
teams
didn't know the Colts ever went to the Super Bowl besides 2006.
Me neither.
They've been to 3 different ones.
Yeah, I knew they lost to
I
New
didn't know that.
Orleans.
They lost to New Orleans after they beat the Bears.
Yep.
I was 7 years old.
All right. Hit the like button, subscribe, comment. We'll see you next week for the NL Central. Peace.
See ya.